What if I told you that the reason you can't lose weight, no matter what you try, and the reason you're exhausted by 2 p.m. every single day are the same problem? Not two problems, one. Today, we're talking about insulin resistance and why conventional medicine almost never connects it to your fatigue. But we are going to connect it completely because once you understand what's happening inside your body, you stop blaming yourself and start actually healing. I'm Lynn, and this is Reclaim Your Life Force. Let's go. Here's what your doctor probably hasn't told you. Insulin and cortisol are in a constant conversation inside your body. When your blood sugar spikes from stress, from food, from poor sleep, from decades of running on empty, your pancreas pumps out insulin to bring it back down. But here's the thing. Cortisol, your stress hormone, raises blood sugar. So does chronic exhaustion. So does being in that relentless state of do more, push through, keep going, that so many of us have been living in for years. When your cells are bombarded by insulin over and over again, they start to ignore it. They literally close the door. That's insulin resistance. And when glucose can't get into your cells starve for energy, even as your blood sugar stays elevated. You are simultaneously running on a full tank and running on empty. That is the paradox. That is why you're exhausted and gaining weight at the same time. Now, layer on top of that, when insulin resistance is present, your cortisol tends to stay elevated. Elevated cortisol suppresses thyroid function. A sluggish thyroid slows everything down further. Your progesterone drops, your sleep worsens, and the cycle deepens. This isn't willpower. This is biochemistry, and it has a way out. What's beautiful is that the ancient systems have known about this pattern for thousands of years. They just use different language for it. In traditional Chinese medicine, this cluster of symptoms, the fatigue, weight gain, sluggishness, difficulty digesting, maps directly onto what's called spleen qi deficiency. The spleen in traditional Chinese medicine governs the transformation and transportation of nutrients. When spleen qi is depleted, food doesn't convert cleanly to energy. Dampness accumulates, and in the body, that dampness shows up as weight we can't lose, brain fog, and a heaviness that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Right now, as we move through this first week of March, we are in the pivotal transition between the water element of winter and the emerging wood element of spring. The liver and gallbladder, our wood organs, are waking up and wanting to move. But if we're locked in spleen qi deficiency and metabolic fog, we can't make that transition. We stay stuck in winter's heaviness. The liver's job of smooth qi flow, which also supports blood sugar regulation, gets compromised. In Ayurveda, this is peak kapha season. Kapha governs structure, stability, and earth. In balance, kapha is nourishing and grounding. Out of balance, especially after a long winter of heavier foods, less movement, and accumulated stress, kapha becomes sluggishness, weight gain, and exactly the kind of metabolic slowdown we're describing today. The ancient Ayurvedic prescription for kapha imbalance: warmth, movement, pungent, bitter, astringent foods, light, stimulating activity. And astrologically, we are still integrating this powerful Virgo full moon blood eclipse energy of the first days of this week. Virgo rules digestion, the gut-brain axis, and the precise, intelligent functioning of the body's systems. This is a potent window to reset your relationship with your metabolic health. Eclipses accelerate change, and with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries now fully activated, we are being asked to dissolve old patterns and build new structures from the ground up. Old ways of eating, ignoring your body signals, they are ready to fall away. Okay, let's talk about what actually moves the needle without adding more to your plate. Number one, protein at every meal. This is non-negotiable. When you lead with protein, you slow glucose absorption. You keep insulin from spiking. You signal to your body that it's safe, that resources are available, that you don't need to store everything as fat. Aim for 25 to 35 grams of protein at breakfast, especially. This is one of the single most powerful things you can do. Number two, blood sugar stabilizing foods from all three traditions. From traditional Chinese medicine, we have bitter melon, cinnamon, ginger, and warming spices that tonify spleen qi and clear dampness. From Ayurveda, there's fenugreek, turmeric, and small amounts of ghee, which actually support insulin sensitivity. And from nutritional science, leafy greens, legumes, low glycemic whole foods, and healthy fats that slow the glucose curve. Number three, eliminate the blood sugar chaos. I spoke about this in last week's video series. This one's kind of hard to hear, but the coffee on an empty stomach, the afternoon handful of crackers, the glass of wine that maybe becomes two, these create insulin spikes that keep the cycle churning. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to see the pattern. And number four, prioritize sleep like it's medicine, because it is. Just one night of poor sleep can induce insulin resistance equivalent to 6 months of a high-fat diet. Sleep is when your cells restore their sensitivity. It is not optional. I have to say something that goes against almost everything the fitness industry tells you. If you are in adrenal exhaustion, which most of you watching this are, high intensity exercise makes insulin resistance worse, not better. When you do a hard HIIT class, your cortisol spikes. That cortisol raises your blood sugar. Your insulin responds, and you're right back in the cycle. I see women doing everything right at the gym and wondering why they're gaining weight. This is why. What actually improves insulin sensitivity without spiking cortisol? Gentle rhythmic movement. Think walking, slow yoga, qigong, swimming, cycling at a place where you can still hold a conversation. Movement that brings you into your body rather than depleting it further. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are specific Qigong practices that tonify spleen qi directly, the organ system most involved in this metabolic pattern. Gentle abdominal breathing, spinal rotation, and the earth element Qigong flows are all appropriate here. In Ayurveda, kapha pacifying movement is warming but never aggressive. A brisk 20-minute walk in the morning, especially this time of year as the light increases, is considered one of the most metabolic medicines available. The key is this: move in a way that leaves you feeling more energized afterward, not wiped out. That's your compass. I want to leave you with one specific, practical, science-backed protocol that you can start today. It costs nothing. It takes 10 minutes, and it is one of the most powerful interventions for insulin resistance that exists. It's the post-meal walk. Research from Stanford and multiple metabolic studies shows that a 10-minute walk taken within 30 minutes of eating can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. Not a 60-minute run, 10 minutes of gentle walking. Here's why it works. Your muscles are the largest insulin-independent glucose sink in your body. When you move your large muscle groups, your legs, your glutes, after eating, those muscles can absorb glucose directly from the bloodstream without needing insulin. You are literally bypassing the broken lock. In traditional Chinese medicine terms, the practice activates the stomach and spleen meridians, both of which run along the legs, and supports the transportation and transformation function that is so key to metabolic health. In Ayurveda, a gentle walk after meals is called Shatapavali, and it's been prescribed for thousands of years, especially to kindle digestive fire and prevent the sluggishness of unprocessed food energy. The protocol is simple. Within 30 minutes of any meal, especially your two largest meals of the day, take a 10 to 15-minute walk. It doesn't have to be fast, a gentle stroll. Outside, if possible, the light signals and grounding further support your cortisol rhythm. Inside in a treadmill works too. The key is consistency, not intensity. Do this one thing for 30 days and tell me what you notice. I think you'll be amazed. Insulin resistance is not a life sentence. It is a signal. Your body is not broken. It is asking for a different kind of support. This week, I invite you to try just one thing from today's video. Maybe it's the post-meal walk. Maybe it's adding more protein to breakfast. Maybe it's swapping that 6 a.m. HIIT class for a morning Qigong flow and seeing how you feel. Small, consistent shifts attuned to your body's actual needs are how we reclaim our life force, not through force, through wisdom. If this video resonated with you, share it with a woman you love who is caught in this cycle. Leave me a comment below telling me which strategy you're trying this week. And if you haven't taken my energy alchemy quiz yet, the link is in the description, because understanding your specific exhaustion pattern changes everything about how you approach this. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel good.